Hello and welcome. I'm Anticio Duke. I want to thank you for joining the fun. I have been exploring AI for quite some time, mostly in the generative AI space for prompt engineering, content-related things, and even designing UIs in relation to AI. One thing I have yet to do and have been excited to do is to explore it to complement it more in my design workflow. We're going to start off based on a recommendation from someone I follow, Jesse Showalter, great designer, great developer, and someone that I admire in the space. With his recommendation, we're going to take a look at Relume today and see just how it works, how it functions, and if that recommendation was indeed valid. So if you're up for it, let's dive right in. So let's go into my computer. We're going to walk through it step by step and then just kind of take a look at what Relume has to offer, just to see if it's even something worth adding to my workflow. So now that we're here, we see several things. It showcases a lot of things in the header, kind of sites that have already been used. It's giving you those information blocks of what the site is about and what you can expect from exploring this tool. Now, one thing I have yet to do is kind of go through all of this intuitively, but it looks like there are templates, there's a library of things mostly related to wireframes, which is actually pretty cool. That's kind of something that I do normally and things that I offer my clients when actually providing design. So knowing that or keeping that in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, this could be a potential tool of use. One thing I always try to go to is the price. They try to trip you on the price, sneak things in or allow for things to happen. So I'm going to explore that a little bit more, and then I may just consider signing up. So here in the sign up function, basic information, we're going to do that just to kind of create an account. We get there, we must verify our email address. So all the standard things that you would expect. But then I'm greeted with the survey, the initial onboarding survey, to kind of tell you a little bit about yourself so they can build this UI interface a la carte or customized to your needs. Shows me how to get started, so really good on the tutorials, some showcasing some examples of the work that's been done and even some inspiration. So what we're going to do is just go into the site builder itself. Let's skip the video and just dive right in. We're risk takers, right? Let's go. Initially, what I see from the interface is I see that top navigation. Top left, information on the project. You'll see sitemap and wireframes. But then in the center, there is this sitemap structure that kind of show you where you will go within the website. And then to the right is what we're going to play with today, is generating a sitemap. I'm shown that I can enter in descriptions of that company. It gives it a basis to work from. It's kind of like setting things up to give someone context of your story. You give them the raw information so that they can orient themselves and yield or assist in a way that's suited for your needs. I'm been growing medical cannabis for some time, so I think this will be a cannabis related project, but let's just give it some information and see what happens. So maybe an online store of sorts. You know what? Let's just do a e-commerce brand. Let's go from there. All right, so add the descriptors, and then I'm going to generate this as like a simple page. Now, again, this will be an e-commerce website, so simple, no custom features, and from there, I'm going to just generate this website. Come on, baby. All right, let's roll the dice, see what happens. And here's the magic. Now, as you can see, what's happening, it is taking the input that we've added and using AI on several different components and generating a sitemap or a website layout based on the information that we've provided. Now, what's cool about this is I can see different sections that I would normally build a wireframe from listed here in this sitemap. Things like features, things like the call to action section, maybe headers, things that we would use in web design to signify a great layout, a testimonial section for social proof, calls to action, some hero images, navigation. Those things are pretty standard. And one thing in the UX and or design space, you start to establish patterns over time. And when you do that, you can use these patterns to then add them to different layouts to orient the user's mental model around what to expect. So a lot of this is pretty standard. And I like the way it's laid out and that I can just sort of experiment with what's there now. So I'm just going to drag and drop and see how the functionality will. Oh, okay. So I can move these section areas wherever I see fit. And then there is another feature that swings out here and I can adjust that. I see global sections. I can create one that's global, which means I can set one component and move it throughout different pages. Okay. So a few small features that I'm learning here. So I can move this up and down. I can adjust it. Okay. All right, duplicate it, delete it, remove it. All right, so there's some functionality there. Seems pretty intuitive, pretty straightforward. So these are the separate ones, and they have section generate, meaning I can probably add a section to this or generate it very similar to what I did with the entire sitemap. Okay, let's go ahead and generate just to see what happens. Now it's generating very similar to what we did earlier. It's generating these sections on the page, which is pretty cool. So now we know that we can get started, not need to write out each section or design each section right away. We know that they will exist. We don't know what order or anything like that, so we can adjust that. But at least we know there's some things that exist here that we're already going to use. Now, that looks good. Now I'm going to do the same thing with these other pages and just see building these things out really quickly. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, and it's doing a really good job at retaining those sort of common elements and patterns that we see. Okay. I'm going to adjust a few things. I'm going to speed this up a little bit because you don't need to see all of what I'm doing. I'm just kind of exploring with the generating tool. And then I may tweak a few things here and there, but I really want to see what the result of this could be. So now that I've gotten my content and I've generated pages based on this e-commerce site, now I want to see how the layout looks. So let me just rename it. And then we'll check out the wireframe just to see how exactly that showed up for us. That's cool. You kind of see it in real time. It's giving you feedback. You've clicked or tapped on a feature. You've already seen that sitemap. So now you're ready to see that wireframe. And I love how it gives you that feedback in real time. The application has built its layout and its content around what we initially added before, which is a great starting point. A lot of designers that I know don't like the content side of things, like writing and actually coming up with that. And if you're anything like that, using AI generated content that is very aligned with the product or brand is super helpful because you can get up to speed and get running very, very quickly. So that's a really great thing. You see it has containers and space for images, for content, links, things that you would normally see on a page layout. So really good starting point. Looks like I can change the asset type view. I can also change a few other things in here. Form type. Okay. So either a call to action or input form. I like that. Oh, okay. So what it did was replace the existing component content with something different. So there's a library of components and or content blocks that you're kind of shuffling through or can select when you want to replace that content. That's actually really cool. It gives you a bit more inspiration for the potential content or potential design that you can add to this website. Looks like there's a variety of them, so we won't go through everything, but there's some other features like copying or deleting, stuff like that, that I may get into in a different video, but I wanted to just see what this looks like. Okay, so it just explores a different version. Really cool. So that's what I wanted to see. Now let's see if we can get to these other views. I'd have to upgrade in order to see them. That's how they get you. What did I say? Aha! That's how they get you. Upgrade to pay more, because I want to see exactly how these other ones work. Okay, so what do I have to do? Now I have to upgrade. We won't take you through the whole process. I want to see how this fully looks. So I'm gonna just upgrade. Just a side note, for you freelance designers or those who work on client projects, what you could do if you were freelancing, you could supplement the cost of using this tool into some of your project budgets. That way you don't bear all of the costs up front. If you're interested in learning more about that, I could put something together to help you there as well. Right now, let's upgrade. Let's keep it moving. You don't need to see my personal information. Let's go. Let's see. Oh, wow. Okay, so you can see in real time, very similar to the first page. You can see how it's generating, how it's populating content for each page. Now we're just going to walk through each particular one just to see what has been added. Cool thing to know, I see that there is a Figma plugin, which is great. I use Figma. For those Figma users out there, this will be a great asset to use, especially if it imports all of this data in. Maybe that's something we could tie in later on. But let's go. Okay, so it does have the component, and we'll have to explore that at a different time just to see. So now we're at the sitemap area where you can see they have text, they have all of the content sections, and it's actually bringing it into Figma. Wow. Okay, let's see how this works. All right, I'm gonna speed this up so that you can avoid all of the population of things, and then we'll go from there. So now you see that there's a desktop view, there's also a mobile view, and these are actually added right here in Figma. So I can literally just zoom in, check out some of the components, start to build from here without starting from complete scratch, which is a time saver. So here's my overall thoughts. I mean, game changer. I can definitely see this being a time saver, not only for me, but for client work, which allows me to build more sites faster and with less issue with time management. Get some of those things out the door faster, or at least come up with different variations of websites and ideas very fast. Love that. It's a great starting point for structure, layout, and organization. The second point that I really love about Relume is that it's a dual asset delivery tool. As you can see, when you were in the tool, you had the sitemap and the wireframes. These are things you can deliver on each project, and you don't have to do them separately. So that's a time save as well. Those two assets are major when it comes to communicating how this site or this project will be built out. The third thing I would say about this app is it's great as far as compatibility with my workflow. Currently, I am a Figma user, and so I love being able to design in there and not have to work around or create these side workflows in order to maximize my time and effort in the tool. Great bonus. Thanks, Relume. Some of the things I say are a bit more challenging for me to accept is the pricing. As you can see, you can look at only one page view with the free version. So I was expecting to see the entire site, but I understand. You got to make money somehow. I love the fact that you get a taste of what to expect and then you build from there. Right now, I see it as stable here, but as more people start to use it, as it starts to get more robust in its components and flexibility, I can definitely see the price increasing. Just be mindful of that. Price is going to be the price, and it may increase going forward. The other thing that I didn't explore, but I didn't see a real way to do, is custom components. There are libraries that you can grab components that have existing content in it. However, adding your own or customizing that, I have yet to explore with it, but it didn't seem that intuitive to do. And it's not a deal breaker, but it's something to be mindful of going forward. I guess we'll just have to see more. And lastly, just a better integration of the Figma plugin. When I actually started to use it, I seen it pull some of the content a little bit disjointed. Some of it was, it had artifacts that were unknown to me. So I believe with time, it'll probably get better. That's something to be mindful of as well when you're bringing in from one app to the next. That's my overview of the application Relume. Thanks, Jesse. If you're not following him, follow him. Great person and overall inspiration to design from. Thank you for the recommendation. After exploring it, I will kind of keep my membership. I do see value in getting and using this app for getting started. Now, when it comes to customized application, I don't see it being really, really robust there. But for standard just websites, e-commerce, things that have existing patterns that we work from in the UX and design space, I think it's a really good starting point there. Marketing sites, landing pages, all of that is very useful for this. There you have it. I definitely recommend Relume. They aren't sponsoring me. They're not paying me to say it. But as you can see, I can definitely incorporate this in my workflow, taking on more projects and more starting points, just so I can explore more and put out more iterations of client projects as we move forward. All right, so that's my time. You know what to do. Your life has color, so make sure to design it that way. And if you like this video, give it a like, share it with someone you feel can benefit from it, and continue to subscribe. Thank you so very much for continually helping the community get better at this design thing and us sharing our knowledge and moving forward in that way. And I will see you in the next one. Take care.